So here's my question. There's still something that I need a little bit of guidance on. What I'm finding now is when I feel the contrast, mostly at work these days, but sometimes outside of work, there's that emotional punch in the gut. And it really hurts sometimes. It's really painful. Now, the good thing is I know I've done my focus wheels and my lists of positive aspects and my hour-long commute to and from work. I mean, your CDs are playing all the time. And so I know how to pivot. I know how to work through it. I do that, and I found it used to take me weeks. Then it took me days. Now it takes me hours. But there's still that punch in the gut that's really painful. What do I do about that? How can I reduce that?
It's a perfect question, and here comes the perfect answer. We want to give you the general answer first, and then we're going to fill it in. The general answer is, accept that contrast is a good thing, that it's part of the process, and that you're not inappropriate in the attracting of the contrast that feels uncomfortable, because nothing is more discordant and therefore nothing feels worse to you than to blame yourself for your behavior, because you are accustomed to accomplishing. So now that you are applying this law of attraction philosophy and you are deliberately setting the tone of your frequency, when contrast appears, you are, just for a moment, shining a spotlight of blame on yourself that goes something like, I should at all costs avoid all contrast, which you know isn't true. It doesn't even make any sense, but that is what you're doing. So if instead of trying to convince yourself that you've made a mistake, which will give you a pain in your gut, rather than trying to convince yourself that you've done something wrong or that something is wrong, if instead you will say, contrast is the basis of expansion, and I embrace this as a right action and a right experience because clarification is coming out of it, because I don't want to open my winery before it's ready. In other words, I want exposure to life, and I want to have the experiences to help me to define. So this is a contrasting moment, but more important, this is a defining moment. And a creator has many, 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 many defining moments. They will never stop. If you will talk yourself down from blame about doing something wrong, Esther does this too. She says to herself, it doesn't serve her, and we're working with her to talk it down too. I've been at this for a long time. I should be better at this than this. I should have done a better job, and that contrasting experience should not have happened. I should have prevented it, is the attitude that she and you are both having about that. But that doesn't square with anything that you've been learning from us at all, which is contrast is the basis of your identification of what you are wanting, is an important first step or an important clarifying step in what you are wanting. And so that contrasting moment, the I know what I don't want moment, should be as important and as delicious to you as the I know what I do want moment, because without one there cannot be the other, you see. So instead of saying I made a mistake, or I took someone on a wild goose chase, or I took myself on a wild goose chase, or I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have gone there. If instead you say, this was an important step in the evolution of my desire, in the clarification of who I am and what I want, and I will be better for it, having lived this experience, and I embrace all of it, and I appreciate all the cooperative components who shared in this contrasting moment, because I'm clearer now about who I am and what I'm wanting. Ooh, doesn't that just soothe that, you see?
Well, thanks, because that kind of confirms what I've been doing. And that's, I think, how I'm able to get myself to turn around, to pivot that fairly quickly. I guess that sometimes very strong punch in the gut emotional feeling, even if it's just for a brief period of time, is just part of it.
But you know why it feels like a punch in the gut? It didn't get there instantly. But the moment that it came on strong and hard like that was in a moment of self-condemnation every single time.
See. That makes sense.
Every single time. Because nothing will take you faster out of the vortex or further from who you really are than being mad at yourself when the source within you is adoring you in such a strong way.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah.
That's what it is every time. Every time.
Okay.
It didn't start there, but it got to there before it punched you in the gut.
Boy, that's the piece I needed.
Yeah.